Welcome to the Nerd Soul Show. I'm Nathan.
I'm John.
And I'm Colin.
So we're going to review Invincible. Came out around the same time that Falcon and the Winter Soldier came out, so it didn't get as much press and attention as Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We actually did a review when the first two episodes came out, which we haven't edited yet, that we're going to drop later on, that it's a more spoiler review. But we're just going to do a spoiler-free review of the entire season because people are starting to catch up now that the entire season has dropped the eight episodes. So, John, do you want to start off what you thought of Invincible, first season of Invincible?
Sure. Great season. It met my expectations. I come from having read the comics, most of the comics. I still have about 15 issues left. I'll get to that one day. But my wife and I enjoyed it immensely. We were anticipating the next episode. They, for the most part, it seems like it was paced out quite nicely. You're trying to get into the life of the various superheroes that are on the show, particularly surrounding the family of Mark and his mom and his dad. And of course, the drama that's a major plot points there that I want taking note of some sort, or at least some sort of cliffhanger that leads you to want to definitely draw you into the next episode. And then, of course, there's shocking amounts of gore that is a little jarring, but they do that on purpose. They also did that in the comics as well to try to bring you back to the reality that these are superheroes with people with immense power. And again, overall, I enjoyed it. I love the way that they really hit home on some of the emotional points, major emotional points throughout the season. Very much looking forward to season 2. I think people who really give it a chance will also be in the same position. Seems like we're getting a lot of these types of shows lately where they're really trying to deconstruct superheroes and present them in different ways, and this is no different, but in a different way. It's been great, and I love it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree, John. I think that for me, it's definitely jarring part of it, and how I'm a little traumatized about the whole situation sometimes. But also the fact, definitely the superhero genre is definitely very deeply explored as well. I haven't watched The Boys yet on Amazon. I didn't get into it, so I don't know how much of a comparison that is. But it did at times kind of remind me, because did watch the movie Watchmen before. It kind of remind me of some of those beats in some fashion or another. But it's kind of like a little twisted, a little different from what that is. So I think that overall, I definitely enjoyed it being a new person in it, and I think I really believe that it's off a little bit because it is a very different take, and also because of the creator, who is, I think he did The Walking Dead as well. So I think that there might be some sort of so there's probably going to be some sort of buzz around that, like him doing this type of thing in the future.
Yeah. So as you guys said, I enjoyed the season. I'm looking forward to season 2. There are a lot of revelations in season 1 that made it so compelling that you wanted to see it every week. Like John said, every episode ended on somewhat of a cliffhanger. There are a couple mysteries in the middle of the season as well that you can track. I don't think as many mysteries as, say, WandaVision, but definitely more than Falcon and Winter Soldier. It's less, I guess, social commentary here, and just more interesting storytelling and like some shocking storytelling. Don't watch this with your kids,
yes,
or your little kids. Even though the animation is really really nice and looks like, I don't know, a Saturday morning cartoon or something like Batman the Animated Series. It is not Batman the Animated Series in gore. I think, having watched Boys and having watched Jupiter's Legacy, which we're going to talk about later, I think this is probably gorier than anything that is out there in the superhero genre. It's gorier than Boys, even though it's drawn stuff. It's just gorier than Boys, and Boys is pretty gory. So yeah, don't watch this with your kids. The voice cast, we were talking about this before we started. The voice cast of this show is amazing. Stephen Yeun plays the main character, Mark, who is this is in the description, so it's not much of a spoiler. Who's a young hero, who's the title character, Invincible, who's coming into his powers. I forget off the top of my head. John, you have the cast in front of you.
J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons plays his father. Sandra Oh plays his mom, and there are just so many people that show up in this show. The creator of the show, or the creator of the comic book, Kirkman, was just saying that he just had all these people come in who was like John Hamm shows up in like one episode just to voice some character called Steve. So they have a very talented voice cast, and they give them for the most part a lot to do. I feel like in season 2, what I would like to see is the female parts fleshed out a little bit more. I think that they gave them more to do than they did in the comics, if I understand correctly.
Yep.
But 23-year-old white guy who wrote this, the female parts are pretty thin in the book. I think he's 50-something years old now, so he fleshed it out a little bit more. I'd like to see more of that in season 2. But But I was pretty satisfied. Of the comic book stuff that I've seen over the last couple of months, it's probably one of the best things that I've seen. I'd probably put it up there with WandaVision as far as like entertainment is concerned. I mean, it doesn't have much to say about the world. Probably Falcon and Winter Soldier beats it there about what's it saying about the world. But as like an entertainment piece, I think I definitely enjoyed it quite a bit.
Yeah, in the comics, Kirkman had a over 10-year run for Invincible and also The Walking Dead. So 2 hugely successful comic book runs created all by him at Image Comics. And that's a great thing about it. He owns all of it as a result, and there's not many comic book creators that can say that. And as a result, he's a very rich man, because obviously both got optioned into TV shows The Walking Dead became a hugely successful TV series.
Multiple series, that's right. Spin-offs and everything.
They
have 3 now, I think.
Yeah, and what's cool about also the comic was, in the comic, it seemed like a white teenager with a white family, and in the series, Mark is clearly depicted as an Asian superhero, and Sandra Oh, the mother, is also depicted as an Asian character as well. In the comics, it's a little bit more, just pretty much plain white characters. So credit to him to really fashion the characters after the actual voice actors that are playing them. So he even says in interviews that in this day and age, and especially during these times, he decided, let's give him an identity. He's going to be an Asian superhero. So
yeah, I think that's
yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think we are in the middle of as of this recording, we're in AAPI month right now. So I think that this is a very good kind of exposure in terms of making sure that, and I know that Stephen Yeun's in Minari as well. So I think that's a really good type of exposure to the Asian American community in a lot of ways, to kind of show that there's definitely a lot of creative side to it, and it's great to kind of have that type of representation that out there. And we know that representation does matter in a lot of these, movies and entertainment. So credit to him for doing that.
Yeah. Any final thoughts, guys?
There was one particular scene. I won't go into too many details. But there was one scene in the final episode that was gory as hell. I have never seen anything like that done in comics or movies or anything.
I know which one.
I think you know what I'm talking about. I'm just like, holy hell! Not only was that gross as hell, but shocking and at the same time cool as hell, right? Because it just demonstrates the raw power of these superheroes and what they could potentially do. Yeah, if you haven't seen it, go see it. You'll know it when you see it.
Yes, it's definitely shocking, but it's really well. It shows the power of, just like The Boys does, what the world would be like if someone that powerful was around, what it would mean to normal human beings. So yeah.
One other thing about it is that I think, John, you showed me online about like how much in all the Invincible comics and like how much they covered in season 1. It's like maybe like 25% of it.
That's about
it. So there's a lot of story that's out there. that needs to be talked about. It's just amazing how much story there is still in Invincible. So it would be very fascinating how many seasons actually Amazon will continue to produce Invincible.
And they greenlighted 2 more seasons already. Which is great.
Which is awesome because you definitely are left with wanting more at the end of the season. And I'm glad that they got greenlit for 2 more, so we'll get more of the story in it. And as you said, I think he wrote it for 14 years or 13 years, something like that.
It was a long time. It's a great run. I mean, it was fairly consistent throughout. You know how it has its ups and downs, and just like in this season, I found one episode to be a little bit of a lull, but all of them were pretty much, I think, at a pretty above average clip for all of them. So yeah.
Well, folks, that's the end of the review. If you found it useful, please give us a like. And also, if you want more reviews like this, remember to subscribe. All right, we'll see you next time.